You're hearing me, Stephen, of course, again?
Yeah.
Okay. New fixtures have been announced. League looks like it's going to get up and running again, and you're going to have some kind of financial backing to get it up and running. Looks like we're going ahead. You're obviously happy enough with that?
Yeah, delighted. I think a lot of credit must go to everyone who's worked really hard behind the scenes, and a lot of credit must go to all the clubs for how they handled the situation last year, because I think that's definitely helped us in getting up and running and getting a plan in place for this year. So I think, like I said, a lot of credit to the people within the FEI for working really hard to come up with a real positive plan for playing games, and the schedule looks good. And then obviously it's a massive well done to all the clubs for how they handled the situation last year.
In terms of the financial amount, there was talking perhaps 9 million to get through the season, and I believe it's about 3.2 to at least get it off the ground. Do you think that's enough and sustainable in the short term, at least?
I think we've got to wait and see everything else that comes out. I don't think there's any point in getting into too much detail now, because we don't know the full picture yet. You know, I think what we got to look at is the real positives that I think the FEI and the league have led the way since this pandemic, and having a plan and showing that basically we take it serious, and this is what we're going to do, and this is how we're going to do. And I think that's a real positive. I understand the financial implications are really important, but I don't know the full details of everything. So I think it'd be wrong to sort of comment on bits and pieces of information.
Yeah, in terms of Watch LOI last year, seems to be a moderate success. The FAI say it wasn't a commercial success. Would you like to see that continue, or some kind of version of that to give fans at least access before they can get back into the grounds? Yeah,
definitely. I think that it'd be great to have something along the lines of LOI. I think it was fantastic for like you said, for the fans who couldn't get to the grounds last year. It was fantastic for everyone, to be honest, because you got to see the way the games are spread. You got to see watch teams every other day, which was good. So hopefully, like I said, the league and the FEI, we can have something in place for the start of the season, something similar.
Okay, last question for me then. In terms of your squad, then you've had a lot of comings and goings over the last couple of months. Are you happy with the squad that you're assembling now?
Yeah, I think what we got five out in terms of Greg, Danny, Reese, Aaron, and Jack. So I know a few of the younger ones are the fringe players as well. But out of the main squad that was playing regular every week, I think we've lost 5 and brought in 4. So yeah, really happy with the group, and if we can add one more, the right one, we look to do so. But we're not in any rush. We're pretty happy with the group.
And you're back in training again?
Yeah, we've been back training, obviously outdoors, and with all the social distance and everything else. So yeah, we've been back, and yeah, it's been going well so far. We've had a round of testing. We got tested last week. Everyone was clear, and we got tested yesterday, and I'm pretty sure everyone was clear again. So yeah, so far so good.
Okay, thanks, Stephen.
Thanks, John.
Just to remind everybody, we will send copies of this around later to anybody who needs a video and audio. So if you do need a copy, let us know. And if you could just keep your microphones on mute and maybe even your cameras off when you're not actually involved in the questions. So our next question is from Conor Hosford, then I'm going to go to Will O'Callaghan. And again, just a reminder, we are under time constraints today, folks. Thank you.
Hey, Stephen, can you hear me all right? Yeah.
Hi, Conor. Yeah.
So you're saying you're back on the pitch now. In terms of preparations for the season, being back on the pitch, you had your rounds of testing, a couple of new faces in. How's the integration between the squad going?
Yeah, it's gone really well. Sean Gannon and Sean Hoare would know a lot of the players, obviously, from playing in the league a long time, and have settled into the group really, really well. Danny's been excellent. I think he was really comfortable because he knew some of the lads from the 21s. So that helped him. And Chris is only in recently because when he came from the UK, he had to do 14 days quarantine. So he's only in recently. He's only in the last week. So, but again, everyone's been fine.
And then even in the off season, obviously the last game that was played was the loss in the cup final to Dundalk. So how's things been going with everything in the off season in terms of just keeping the players interacted and preparing for what you're looking probably to be another league winning season?
Yeah, it's been fine. The players had their time off after the final as planned. I think the league being delayed was the right decision, obviously. I think it would have been crazy to start on the original date. So I think that was a really good decision. And that gave everyone time to get ready and get the squads together. No, it's been fine. The off-season's been good.
And you spoke about a couple of outgoings there. You said there before, towards the end of last season, that you had to plan for life with and without Jack Byrne. Inevitably, that was without. But now you've lost Aaron McInnes there as well. It was a quick reporting of the interest from Hearts, and then all of a sudden he signed. So how's that kind of gonna go now with the loss of your midfield and kind of rebuilding for the next couple of weeks even?
That's fine. That's fine. Like I said, we plan for things months down the road. I think there's been a lot of interest in Aaron for a long time from a number of clubs. So you have to, like I said, your job is to always plan and be ready for the next season. Like I said, we're a really strong group, strong squad, and we'd be fine. We've lost two good players. There's no doubt on that. One international and one that will be an international, and that's the way it goes. Sometimes in this country, especially when you're successful, that's what happens, you know. And we've got to get on with it. That's the way it is. We've lost Graham Burke in the past, Gavin, Trevor, Aaron. We've sold players since I've been here. We've sold a lot of players, so and that will continue to be the case going forward. You know, that's football and that's this league. So no problem. Good players, but we've got some very good players in the group.
And then last one for me is in the run up now to the league. It's been widely reported that there's going to be no friendly games. How's that going to affect not just your squad, but in terms of the entire league coming back with no actual games before you actually start a competitive season? How's that going to go?
Look, I think again we've got to wait and see and how this the pandemic pans out and how the government see it in a few weeks' time. There's no point in trying to predict what's going to happen in a few weeks' time. Right now, can we play games? No. But I think that's understandable considering where the country is, like, you know. So I don't think we can have any complaints. The main thing is that we're not in a normal time. So we've got to adjust and get on with it. There's no point in giving out about it or crying about it. It is what it is. If we can't play games, we can't play games. Everyone's in the same boat. I'm really sure Man City didn't have one pre-season friendly this year, and they look unstoppable at the moment. So I think you can
to see a full season actually take place this year.
Yeah, 100%. I think we were one of the teams last year that wanted the full calendar. I know there was a few that didn't. We were one of the ones that really pushed for it. It didn't happen, but hopefully this year again, if we do things like we did last year in terms of each and every club, every ground we went to, I think the clubs are fantastic and how it was handled. And if that's the case, I don't see why we can't finish out the season. I know a lot of responsibilities on the players and staff when they leave their actual environment of how they behave and what they do in terms of mixing. But I think it'd be great to have a full season and we can control a lot of that in terms of each club can control that.
And just the last one for me, not to dwell on Jack Byrne or Aaron leaving the club, but in Jack in particular, were you hopeful after the cup final he was going to stay around, or did it always feel inevitable with the standard of football he's played over the last couple of years that interest was going to happen?
I think we got to understand, and again, we got to look at when we got Jack. He was struggling. He was a bit lost. He's an Irish international now, and we did some good work with Jack. He did some good work with us. And sometimes you got to understand that in other countries, there's offers on the table that we just can't compete with, like, you know, and that's the reality of it, you know. And you got to, like I said, thank Jack and for everything he did here, because he was fantastic for us, fantastic for the league. But sometimes you just got to shake his hand and say best of luck, like, you know. He's a tremendous player. like I said, he's an Irish international now, and hopefully he can continue to be so when he gets playing regular in his new club. But yeah, look, we just have to accept the reality of when you're successful, that teams are going to come and want your best players.
Thanks, Stephen. Good luck getting ready for the season.
Cheers, thank you.
Good afternoon, Stephen. Just one quick one. Looking ahead at the season ahead, how different is the pressure and how different is the challenge going in as defending champions compared to going into a season chasing a title?
It'd be slightly different, but I think we'd be fine. I think this group is more than ready for it. I think they've shown that on a number of occasions in big games and over the course of last season, and I think they'd be fine. Like, you know, I think it'd be a nice challenge. It'd be nice being the team that people want to beat, and but I think that's been the case for quite some time, to be honest. And we just got to go and enjoy what we do, enjoy the football we play, enjoy winning games, enjoy working hard. Because we're going to have to work hard, we know that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a good season.
Perfect, gentlemen. Stephen, thanks.
Thanks, Shane.
Yeah, hi Stephen. I'll jump in there. Just a couple of quick questions from me. One of them is on Aaron McEneff. Were you expecting to lose him before the end of the season, or did it come as a little bit of a surprise?
No, you don't ever want to lose good players, but I think you've got to understand that there's been interest for quite some time in Ireland. There's been a lot of clubs ringing for quite some time, and when teams are picking up the phone over a period of months, you have to understand quickly that it's a serious interest and things could happen, you know. So you've got to be ready for that. And I think we've seen that. Like I said, the interest for quite some time. Like we said, you don't want to lose your best players, but that's the environment we're in, that's the country we're in, that's the league we're in, and when you're successful, people want what you have.
Are you confident that you'll keep the squad together now before the start of the season, that there won't be any more outgoings?
Well, look, the only one, I had a fair idea, to be honest, that Jack was leaving before the final. We gave him a bit of time to decide, but I had a fair idea. The other players, we sat down and came to an agreement that it was time to move on for different reasons. So the only one that we've lost, obviously, quickly has been Aaron. But like I said, the interest has been there for quite some time. So the players we brought in were always in mind what was going out. So we're really comfortable with what we have. Like I said, we'll try and add maybe one if it's the right one. But if not, if we can't get the right one, we won't just take one in to have a number. We're more than happy with what we have.
Can I just check on something you mentioned earlier as regards testing? I know that the players have done, and I suppose you as well have done 2 rounds of testing now. Is that a standardised thing across the league, or is that just something that the club took on themselves?
No, we felt it was important as a club. We brought it to the board a few weeks back and asked could we get 2 rounds of testing before we were back on the pitch, because again we feel it's important that the players understand where they are, and if we had any cases that we could deal with early, and if not, we know that we need to stay on top of it in terms of our movements and everything when we leave this environment. So I think it was important that when we came back, everyone was in a clear frame of mind of where they were, like, you know. So like I said, I think today was all clear as well, so it's been a good result.
That's good. And just to check, is that just for the start of the season, Stephen, or are you going to keep that going throughout the season?
Again, it's something we'll have a chat with the club about, with the board and the league, and obviously the medical people, and see what their advice is. Like, you know, it's not cheap, as we know, so that will play a factor. But also it'll come down to the medical advice, and there's a lot of factors that will come into that decision.
Yeah, and my last question, Stephen, is just looking ahead to Europe this season. You have the Champions path open to you now. Do you see Europa League group stage football as a realistic ambition for this group?
I think we need to be very careful. You know, I think the Champions path guarantees nothing. Like, you know, I think the draw that we seen last year, we'd never see a draw like that again. Like, you know, I don't think we've ever seen one like that before, and we'll never see something like that again. That was an incredible draw. They earned the right to have that, to get that draw, so fair play. But I don't think we can plan to have that type of draw season on season. You know, if we did, I think you'd really fancy your chances, but you can't. The Champions route guarantees nothing. You know, it just gives you that opportunity to be lucky, really.
Thanks, Stephen. Best of luck for the season.
Thanks.
I apologize. I disappeared there for a second and deep as dark as me. So, is there anything else for the live section before we go on to the embargo for 11 p.m. this evening? Anyone else for live? Websites, radio, etc. Speak now or forever hold your peace, as they say. So I think we'll take everyone that's happy enough with live then. So on calendar, everything from here on in is embargoed to 11 p.m. And again, just to remind you, we will send out the audio and video after the conference. So if Owen Castle would like to kick off the embargo for 11 p.m, please, on.
Hey, Stephen.
Hey, on.
Just mentioned about the lads going. They were 2 year better performers last year. Is there anyone in your squad who maybe wasn't guaranteed starter last season, you think can kick on and take this chance now?
Yeah, I think it's a chance for all the players, to be honest. I think, again, you got to look at when we got Aaron, he was a floaty 10, and now he's on the verge of being an Irish international, the best box-to-box midfielder in the country. You got Jack, and he was a bit lost, and now he's an international. So my point is, I think it's a chance for other players to step up and follow that. Like, you know, I think there's real quality in the group. I think you look at Dylan. Until we took Dylan off in the final, he was with Graham Bourke, probably the best player on the pitch. You know, you take him off because he's booked and he just missed a tackle before. You take him off and you're thinking he can get sent off. But in terms of ability, he's shown on a number of occasions that he's as good as anyone in the country. And now it's up to the likes of Dylan to go and step up and really grab it.
Is that him, like when he first arrived from Bowes? He started well. I think his first full season he was in and out. Last year he came on a bit more. Is he someone you think has the ability to go on the way Aaron and Jack have?
Yeah, definitely. I think Dylan's every year he's maturing, and in terms of his game, his overall game's improving, and his mentality to being a professional athlete is improving every year. You know, he's how he trains, how he behaves, and when, like I said, when you look at just his playing ability, he's definitely up there with the best in terms of ability, and like with his maturity coming, I think he definitely has it in him to go and step up.
Thanks a lot, Stephen.
Thanks, Son.
Stephen, how's things? You well?
Hiya, Paul.
Can I just ask you about Danny Mandrew? You know, he's obviously been signed for a little while, but would Jack go? Would he not go? Jack's obviously gone now. And I guess, you know, in terms of creative talents, people are going to see him as Jack's replacement for right or for wrong, whether that's the case or not. That's going to bring a lot of pressure on Danny. So how does Danny deal with that?
I think Danny's the type of player and character that enjoys it. I think you just have to look at how he carries himself on the pitch. He enjoys the spotlight, he enjoys the pressure, and I think he's going to enjoy being at a club that is going to compete, like, you know, and really want to win things. I think that's part of the reason why he's come here, and I think Danny enjoys that that spotlight and that pressure. You know, I think he's his own man. I think we've seen that he's a different type to anything in the league or anything that's been in the league. And again, he's a really good age, has tremendous potential, and if he's willing to work hard, which I've seen nothing at the moment to suggest otherwise, well then he's a top player, like, you know. And I think you just have to speak to people who've been around him in the 21s and listen to what they've said in terms of how he trains, how he plays, his attitude. He has everything to be a really, really good player.
And how, just finally for me, like how do Danny and Jack, in terms of just that creative spark in the team, how did they differ basically?
I think they're totally different. I know they play in similar positions, but I think they're totally different. I think Jack would rather see a final pass than see a goal. Like, you know, Jack would rather see the pass. Jack's positions were a lot deeper than what Danny's are. Danny plays off both feet. Danny's moves different to Jack. There's a lot of difference in how they play, how they see the game. But they're always going to get compared because of the position they play. And I understand that, and I think Danny understands that, and that's fine. But I think Danny will write his own story this year. Like, you know, I think he'll do his own thing and write his own story. I think, like I said, so far he's worked tremendously hard, and he looks in really good shape. And he just wants to get going. He just wants to be on the pitch. Last year was frustrating for him, and I think he just wants to show people how good he is.
Cheers, Stephen. Thanks.
Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, Paul. David Morris.
Hi, Stephen.
Aidan.
Just go back to Aaron. I know it doesn't affect you because the season's still away, but in terms of the timing, the fact it was so close to the window in the UK, did that make it difficult in terms of what you could, leave it with or bargain for?
No, not really. No. Like I said, our window doesn't close for a few weeks, so it put no real pressure on us in terms of where we were with the group. No, it didn't change anything, to be honest, Aidan.
And because you said all along there has been interest. I mean, how intense was the interest before that?
There's been a lot of interest in Ireland since the summer. I think a lot of championship clubs, a lot of clubs from Scotland. Were on, like I said, every now and again you get one phone call, but when the calls are coming every week or every second week, you know that the interest is serious. And when you deal with the people that we were dealing with, you know that it's really serious. So, like I said, you have to understand that when that happens, that there's genuine interest there, and and you got to be ready for what's happening. Like I said, we've got to understand that the country we're in and the league we're in, if you're successful, people are going to come and try and take good what you have.
Okay. And just the last one being just on Graham Burke, as I understand it, he's up at Preston in the summer. At what stage do you hold talks? Are they going on already, or what's the status with Graham?
Yeah, they've started a while back with Graham in terms of talking about summertime and what the plan will be going forward, and that will be, I'd imagine that'll be ongoing for the next coming few weeks until we come to an agreement both sides. But yeah, that's been ongoing.
But he's up at Preston in the summer. He's with you till the summer, and then it's just a matter of seeing longer term after that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Steve.
Thanks.
Thanks, Aidan. Paul Lennon, and then Philip Quinn, Brendan O'Brien, and then Emma Malone with the last question for the daily section. We'll do a very, very, very quick Sundays at the end of that, if that's okay, Stephen. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Hey, Stephen. How you keeping?
Hiya, Paul.
Just a few quick ones. You still got a really incredibly strong squad, even though you've lost two high-profile players. With Sean Gannon coming in, is maybe Ronan Finn moving into a more central role? We asked him this a few weeks ago. Obviously, he wasn't going to say one way or the other. What's your feeling on Ronan?
I think if you look through the players we sign, we usually sign players, Paul, that can play a number of positions. I think that's important because you don't know what the season is going to throw up in terms of injuries, suspensions, illness. You're not sure, so you got to sign players that can adapt. And the way we play, we need players that can play in a number of positions. Ronan's obviously, when we got him, he was a top midfielder. We sort of converted him to a right wing back. He did really well. But like you said, the option is there for Ronan to go and play inside. But there's also certain games that he will play on the right side.
Just come back to you won the league by a big distance, unbeaten. Yet when it came to the cup final, Dundalk really played well, even though you were the better side for a long part of it. And the emerging, most people would agree, they deserve to win. How much sort of was that of a reality check to show that there's very little between the two teams?
No, it wasn't a reality check for us. I think we were quite clear always where we were and where we need to go and how we're going to get there. I think the final, I think we were the better team for, I think I've said, for 65 minutes. They started well for 5 minutes, but after that, I think we completely dominated the game. In fact, it probably got to a stage where we felt too comfortable. That was probably part of the problem. We didn't take our chances. If you don't do that against a good side, which they are, you leave yourself open to get punished, and that's what happened. But the cup final, we didn't need a reality check. I think we always knew that and know that they're a good side. They were a good side. But we full confidence what we do. We always do, and we believe in what we do. And again, I think the final, we were excellent for the best part of 70 minutes. We were really, really good, but got a bit comfortable and sloppy in the final third. Didn't take our chances and got punished.
Thanks, Stephen.
Thanks, Paul.
Quinn.
Happy New Year.
Sorry, Philip, I can't hear you.
Philip, I think your line is even worse than mine. I'm going to jump to Phil. If you just mute for a second, I'm going to go to Brendan and then I'll go back to you. If you want to send me the question on chat, maybe as well. No.
The joys of working from home.
Brendan, would you like to jump in for a second?
Yeah, thanks, Stephen.
Hello, hey, Brendan.
How are you doing? You've kind of talked in and around this in terms of the individual players, but with everybody coming in and out, does the system change to suit the players, or you more the players adapt to whatever system is there at the club? How does that work as a philosophy for you guys?
No, I think if you look, like I said, we knew for quite some time what was going to go out of the group and what was going to come in. And I think we always recruit to what we need, what suits us. There's no point in signing, letting 5 players leave the club and bringing in 4 or 5 and completely changing things. That doesn't make sense. So we always recruit with what we have in mind and how we play, and do the players suit that. And that's why we've identified the players we have, and that's why we've gone after them so strongly and so early, because we know and we feel that they fit exactly what we do. We don't. I think if you start signing players and then worry about what system you play afterwards, I think you're in trouble, really.
That's great. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Brendan.
Phil, would you like to try again?
Which game I share for you?
I think it's any better, is it? Okay, I'll come back to the text in a second. Emma, would you like to ask a question while I just get it? Phil, sorry, please. Emma Malone.
Very cool. Yeah, Stephen, hi. Can you hear me?
Hi, yeah.
How are you going? You're right. Listen, just one really. You've kind of mentioned in the broadcast section there that you might bring in one more if it's the right person. There's been talk of Richie Towell. Where does that stand? There's talk that you might have already signed him, or that it's going to be done in the summer, different versions of it. What's the story?
No, I can tell you we haven't signed him. I think he's obviously a Salford player. I really like him. I always have. And if he's one that became available, we would definitely be interested because he fits what we do. But like I said, there's I think a lot's being made of nothing at the moment. He's a Salford player, and I think he is so until the summer, like, you know.
So there's no way he's coming in this window.
Right now, I don't see it. But like I said, that could change. We've got a few weeks left in our window. And like I said, he's a Salford player, really. So, that's it at the moment.
Okay, and beyond that, then you'd be looking at possibly bringing in the summer, if you could.
I like him. Again, I'm sure he'll have options in England and Ireland. I like him. I always have. He's a right type for us, but again, that's something that's to be honest, is right down the line. He's in terms of he's still under contract there, and he won't be short of offers. So look, he's a player I like. There's no denying that, but that's it right now. Like, you know.
He's out of contract in the summer, is he?
Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Thanks for it.
Thanks.
Hey, Stephen, I have 2 questions for you from Philip. The first one, Rory McIlroy, he says he used to ride his goals for the year on a drinking mat on his way to the first tournament. I think he used to fly to Abu Dhabi or Dubai and ride his goals for the year on the back of a beer mat. What would be a successful 2021 for you, Stephen, in light of the progress on your watching in 2020?
I think if we get to write anything on the back of a beer mat, it'd be a successful year for everyone, because it means we're in the pub, won't it? I think... Look, I think, Philip, I think we've got to go and see how it pans out. It's going to be a difficult season. I think other teams have strengthened really well. I think it's going to be difficult, but I have full faith in what we do in the group. And we know we're going to have to work hard. We've got to go and try and win whatever's on offer, like, you know. And if that's the cup and if that's the league, we've got to put our best foot forward and see where we finish. But we can't sit here and say we're going to go for this or that, or this is what we predict. We're going to have to work really hard and see where it takes us.
And the second question is the last question for the embargo at 11 o'clock tonight. Philip would like to know, Stephen, would you like to see Rovers have weekends off around Champions League and Euro games? So Champions League and European games thereafter, would you like to have weekends off around those fixtures?
Weekend, sorry, Kettle.
Yeah, sorry. Would you like to have the weekends off around the Champions League fixtures, European fixtures? So either the weekends before or the weekends after in terms of League Ireland matches. Would you like to have that postponed for you?
Again, no, right now, no. But again, I think it depends on your draw. It's okay saying that now, but your draw could take you anywhere. And if you've got a Derry away and you're only getting back in 24, 40 hours before that, obviously it's an issue. But again, right now, no, I think we're at our best when we're playing regular games. But it's very easy to say that if you have a game on a Thursday night in Tallaght and then a game on Sunday in Tallaght, it's quite easy to play, or Saturday, whatever it is. But if you're away from home and then you're away from home when you come back to the domestic league, it's a different story. So it's a difficult answer until we know the draw, really.